You think you're in control of your life, but it's your darkness that's been controlling you all along. You think you know yourself. You think the choices you make, the words you speak, the life you live are all you. But Carl Jung warned that there's another side to you, one you never meet in the mirror, the shadow, the silent twin that watches from the dark corners of your mind. You don't control it. You just pretend it isn't there. Every time you swallow your anger instead of facing it, it grows. Every time you lie to protect your image, it takes note. Every time you deny the truth about what you want, what you feel, who you really are, it waits. You may not see it, but it sees you, and it's patient. The shadow doesn't scream for attention, it whispers. It hides behind your habits, your addictions, your judgments. You call it bad luck, mistakes, bad timing. But deep down, you know, it's you, the part you buried alive. People think darkness means evil. It doesn't. It means unseen. It's the side you locked away to fit in, to be liked, to be safe. But what's buried never dies. It rots. It leaks through the cracks, in your tone, your choices, your silence. The more you deny it, the more it controls you. The more you hide it, the stronger it gets. You think you're running from it, but you're only running in circles. Look around. The anger you see in others, the envy, the cruelty, it mirrors what you've disowned. The world becomes a projection of your own neglected self. That's why you keep meeting the same type of people, falling into the same traps, facing the same pain. Your shadow is orchestrating it all. It wants to be seen. It wants you to remember. Until you do, it will haunt every corner of your life, shaping it from beneath. The truth is, you're split in two. The person you show the world, and the one you keep locked in the basement of your psyche. Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." But people don't want consciousness. They want comfort. And comfort is the perfect disguise for decay. You can't live in denial and expect peace. The shadow doesn't disappear. Because you refuse to look, it waits until the night you least expect it. And it takes the wheel. Think about your triggers, the moments you lose control, the people who make you irrationally angry, the thoughts you can't silence. That's the shadow's voice. It's not your enemy, it's your teacher. But most people never listen. They spend their lives pretending they're good, polite, decent, harmless. But repression doesn't make you pure, it makes you hollow. And sooner or later, hollow things break. The shadow doesn't want to destroy you, it wants to complete you. It's the part of you that holds power, passion, instinct, creativity, all the pieces you threw away to survive. To integrate it isn't to become darker, it's to become real. Because when you face the part of you that frightens you most, you stop fearing the world, you stop being controlled by what's hidden. Most people will never face it. They'll keep running, smiling, pretending, but their shadow will still be there, watching, waiting, guiding them toward the same mistakes, again and again, until they break the illusion. You don't escape the shadow by ignoring it. You escape it by walking straight into it. Because the thing you fear most is already inside you. You spend your whole life building a version of yourself that others can accept. You learn early what earns approval, what gets applause, what keeps you safe. So you build a mask. You wear it so well that even you start to believe it's real. Jung called it the persona, the face you show to the world. But behind it, something begins to die. The truth of who you really are starts to fade, buried under layers of performance. The mask smiles when you don't want to. It nods when your soul screams no. It hides your rage, your hunger, your sadness. And people love it. They love the version of you that fits neatly into their expectations. They praise you for being so kind, so polite, so stable. But that praise is poison, because with every compliment, you lose another piece of your authentic self. You become addicted to approval, enslaved by the illusion of being liked. The persona feels safe, but it's a trap. It's made of everything you think you should be, and none of what you truly are. It's a prison built from politeness and fear. You can't breathe inside it, but you can't take it off either. Because the moment you do, people start to pull away. They don't want your truth. They want your mask. So you keep wearing it even when it burns your face. The danger isn't that you fool others, it's that you fool yourself. You start to speak in tones that aren't yours, make choices that don't belong to you, live a life that doesn't feel like living. You become a character in a play you didn't write. And when you're finally alone, when there's no one left to perform for, you realize you don't even know who's behind the curtain anymore. That's the moment Jung warned about, the point where the persona begins to crumble and the shadow starts to rise. When the mask slips, you meet the parts of yourself you've neglected, the anger you suppressed, the truth you denied, the parts of you that wanted to scream but stayed silent for too long. And it terrifies you, because you've built your identity around being someone else. You don't know how to be real anymore. Most people don't survive that confrontation. They glue the mask back on. They run back into the crowd, into the noise, into distraction. Anything to avoid the silence that might show them their reflection. But the mask doesn't heal you. It only hides the wound. And what's hidden festers. The longer you live as your persona, the further you drift from your soul. You start to sense it, that quiet emptiness, that low hum of unease that never leaves. That's your real self knocking, begging to be seen. But to answer that call, you have to betray the illusion. You have to let the false image die. When you finally remove the mask, it hurts. It feels like losing everything, because in a way, you do. You lose the lies, the roles, the applause. But what you gain is weightless and raw. You gain truth. The kind that doesn't need validation, the kind that doesn't ask for permission to exist. The persona was never you, it was protection. It kept you safe when you were too fragile to be seen. But now it's a cage. The world taught you to hide behind the mask, but your soul is starving for what's real. You can't be free until you stop performing. Take off the mask. Let them see what's underneath. And if they leave, let them. You think you hate certain people, their arrogance, their selfishness, their vanity. But Jung said something few can handle. What you despise in others is often what you refuse to see in yourself. The world isn't just out there, it's a mirror. And every reflection you reject shows you a piece of your own shadow. It's easier to point a finger than to look inward. So you say, I'm nothing like them. You build moral distance. You call them toxic, fake, shallow. But the reason they get under your skin isn't because they're so different. It's because they remind you of something you buried, that envy you deny, that desire you suppress, that cruelty you pretend doesn't exist. Their flaws awaken the parts of you you've locked away, and your mind defends itself by attacking them. Projection is the psyche's favorite lie. You condemn in others what you can't accept in yourself. You hate the liar because you lie. You despise the greedy because you crave. You resent the arrogant because deep down you wish you could be that unapologetically bold. But you can't. You're chained to your image, to being good, humble, right. So you exile the darker impulses that don't fit the narrative. And where do they go? Into the shadow, into silence. The truth is, the people you judge most intensely are your greatest teachers. They drag your shadow into the light, even when you don't want to see it. That's why they feel like mirrors you want to shatter. But every time you hate someone, you give them power. You feed the part of yourself you refuse to understand. You keep the cycle alive. We live in a world addicted to judgment. Everyone pointing, no one reflecting. But the moment you stop asking, why are they like that? And start asking, why does this bother me so much? That's when real awareness begins. The answer is always closer than you think. It's not about them, it's about you. Always has been. People love to talk about self-awareness, but true awareness isn't beautiful. It's brutal. Because when you realize how much of what you see in others comes from within you, you lose the comfort of innocence. You're forced to admit you're capable of the same darkness you condemn, the same manipulation, the same weakness. That's where most people stop, because it's easier to live blind. But if you stay there, you never grow. You stay trapped in loops of judgment and denial. Jung believed wholeness only comes through integration. To become whole, you must embrace your own ugliness, not to act on it, but to understand it. Once you see it, it loses control over you. You stop reacting blindly. You stop projecting. You start seeing people as they are, not as reflections of your own wounds. The parts of you you call bad aren't evil. They're exiled. They just want to be acknowledged. When you bring them home, you stop being split in two. You become solid, centered, dangerous in your self-awareness, because nothing outside of you can control you anymore. The world can only trigger what you haven't made peace with. So next time someone makes your blood boil, don't rush to judge. Ask what part of you they're showing. Ask what truth you've been avoiding. That's where the real work begins, not outside, but inside. The enemy isn't them, it's your reflection. Everyone says they want freedom, but most don't mean it. What they really want is comfort that feels like freedom, a life that looks easy, smooth, safe. But Jung knew the truth. You don't become free by avoiding pain. You become free by walking straight through it. Real freedom begins where comfort ends. The mind loves routine, control, familiarity. It craves safety even when that safety is killing you. So you cling to habits that numb you, people who drain you, beliefs that shrink you. You call it stability, but it's a quiet kind of death. Because anything that keeps you from growing becomes your prison, no matter how soft the walls feel. The shadow doesn't live in comfort, it lives in confrontation. It waits for the moment you stop pretending everything's fine. The moment you look in the mirror and say, I don't know who I am anymore. That's where the real work begins. Not in the light, but in the dark places you've been avoiding. Everyone wants transformation, but no one wants to bleed for it. The path to freedom isn't beautiful, it's raw, it's losing what you thought you needed. It's watching pieces of your old self fall away until you stand there stripped and real. You'll feel like you're breaking, but you're not. You're just meeting the parts of yourself you've been hiding from. The shadow will test you. It will show you everything you fear, not to destroy you, but to see if you're ready to be whole. Most people fail that test. They run back to the familiar. They tell themselves they're fine. They distract themselves. They hide behind routines. But the truth doesn't disappear just because you look away. The truth waits. The longer you avoid it, the louder it gets. You can silence your mind for years, but your soul never stops whispering, and the whisper turns into a scream the moment you stop pretending to listen. Growth doesn't feel good. It feels violent. It feels like dying, because in a way it is the death of who you were before you knew yourself. You'll lose friends. You'll outgrow people who still live inside illusions. You'll feel alone. But that loneliness is sacred. It's the silence between the old and the new, the place where your real self is born. People who walk through their darkness come out changed. Their eyes are quieter, their presence heavier. They've faced the chaos within and learned to hold it without breaking. That's real strength, not confidence, not success, but the calm that comes from surviving yourself. Once you've stood face to face with your shadow and didn't run, the world loses its power to scare you. You've already met the monster, and it was you. The truth is, the shadow is not your enemy, it's your doorway. It doesn't want to destroy you, it wants to free you from the illusion of safety. To walk through it, you must let go of the life you built around fear. You must accept that freedom costs comfort, and most people aren't willing to pay. They'll keep pretending, keep smiling, keep dying quietly inside their routines. But not you. You've seen what lies beneath the surface. You've felt the pull of the dark, and now you know. Freedom isn't found in the light, it's earned in the dark. So in the end it's simple. You can keep running from your shadow, or you can face it and finally see who's been chasing you all along. The light won't save you. The mask won't protect you. The truth won't wait forever. Step into the dark. That's where the real you begins.